Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wajma'in. Amma ba'd. This is part 3 of the English translation of a talk by Mufti Taqi Usmani Damat Barakatuhum. Um, so we do, we are required to get angry only for Allah Ta'ala's sake. However, this anger should be under control so that it's expressed only within the confines set by Allah Ta'ala and should not go beyond it. Once a non-Muslim said something disrespectful about the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in front of Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu. Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu could not tolerate such a disrespect towards the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he threw that person onto the ground and got on top of him with an intention to beat him. But the non-Muslim could not do anything else. Mm, He spat on Hazrat Ali's face. Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu immediately let go of him and stood aside. Someone asked, Hazrat, he was now being even more insolent. Why did you let him go? Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu replied, I had initially become angry with him when I was going to hit him because he was being disrespectful towards the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when he spat at my face, I became angry for myself. If I had hit him, then it would have been taking revenge for my person and not to defend the honor of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is why I let him go. It is like Hazrat Ali Hazrat anhu showed us how to implement the hadith, love for Allah, be angry for Allah in our lives. It's like the anger is tamed according to the limits of Sharia. It only goes as far as Sharia allows and then it ends. It's about people like him that it has been said, these are the people who stayed within the limits set by Allah. When Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu entered Masjid Nabi once, he saw that the drain of Hazrat Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu's roof, who was the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam uncle, was placed in such a way that when it rained, the water from that drain fell in Masjid Nabi. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu thought that Masjid is Allah's home and water from a person's personal home draining into it is against its exalted status. He ordered for the drain to be demolished and it was. When Hazrat Abbas radiallahu anhu heard about it, he came to Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu and asked him why he had got that drain demolished. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu replied that he did it because that drain fell in Masjid al-Nabi. It was against his respect. Hazrat Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu asked, do you know with whose permission this drain was put here? I had taken permission from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to put it here. Who are you to demolish it? Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu asked, did the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam give you permission to put it here? Hazrat Abbas replied, yes, he did. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu said to Hazrat Abbas radiallahu anhu, for Allah's sake, please come with me. He took Hazrat Abbas radiallahu anhu to the side of the drain, bent down and said to Hazrat Abbas, now get on my back and put that drain back. Hazrat Abbas said, I will get it done by someone else. Hazrat Umar replied, how could Umar dare to demolish a drain that had been put in place by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? I have committed a grave mistake. The minimum punishment for it should be that you get on my back to put this drain back. So Hazrat Abbas got on his back and put the drain back in its place. This is a practical example of following the hadith. Love for Allah's sake, be angry for Allah's sake. When Hazrat Umar became angry initially, it had been for Allah's sake. And when he realized his mistake, he reversed his course of action, and again it was for Allah's sake only. Because of this anger of Allah, sometimes a person has to show anger, particularly towards one's students and pupils whose behavior one is responsible for. For example, a father has to express anger at his children sometimes to correct their behavior. A teacher has to express displeasure sometimes with his students' behavior. But this anger should only be to an extent which is needed for the change of behavior and is allowed by Sharia. It should not go beyond that limit. The way of controlling one's anger and keeping it within limits is not to express it when one is overcome by emotions. Rather, he should wait for the strong emotions to subside. Once the anger has subsided, only then he should scold the student or pupil or one's child, as then it would be much easier for him to control his anger and stay within limits, as it is much more difficult for a person to control their anger when they are overcome by emotions. But this needs practice over a long period of time and reminding oneself of the adverse consequences of uncontrolled anger and the penalties one will have to face on the day of judgment. For that, if a person expresses excessive anger at underage children, then the long-term consequences can be especially stark. If a person becomes angry with someone older than himself or the same age as him, then if that person doesn't like it, he can express his anger in return, or at least tell him that he didn't like it. But if a person is under someone's influence or control, like children, students, or subordinates, then they are often unable to express their anger and resentment in return. This way, one won't find out if they cross limits in being angry, and if they don't know that then why then they won't be apologizing for it. Hazrat Thanvi radiallahu anhu, Hazrat Thanvi rahmatullah used to say that teachers who teach underage children should take extreme care and caution in expressing their anger towards these children. The reason is that under Sharia, if a person violates the rights of an underage child, then even if they apologize to that child and the child forgives him, and the forgiveness of the child is not valid unless the violator apologizes when they have become adults and then they forgive him. Because in Sharia, the forgiveness of a child is not valid. This shows how grave a risk it is to violate a child's rights. In summary, we must try to bring our anger under control, as uncontrolled anger leads to many societal and social problems and sins, and it is the cause of many spiritual ills. When a person starts on the journey of purification of one's inner self, in the beginning they should make efforts not to express their anger at all. After a period of time, once they feel that their anger has come under some degree of control, then they can start using their judgment about situations where it's appropriate for them to express their anger and where it is not. Even in situations where they feel it's appropriate for them to express their anger, they should do so only within the limits imposed by Sharia and should not go beyond those limits. Some people misunderstand the concept of anger for Allah and use it inappropriately. They start expressing anger at other people, believing that they're doing it for Allah's sake. But in reality, their anger is stemming from takabbur and their disdain for people. Takabbur is thinking that one is superior to others and the others are inferior to himself. For example, when some people start following religion even a little bit, they start looking down on everybody else and start believing that they are the only pious ones, and all the other people, including their parents, their sibling, their spouse, their friends, are all sinners and are destined for Jahannam. Then they start trying to correct other people's behaviors using harsh words and harsh behavior and being angry with them. They violate their rights by putting them down and insulting them. The Satan tells them that all they're doing comes under uh, anger for Allah, while in reality, what they're doing is because they think they are better than other people and look down upon other people. So when people first start following Allah's path, the Satan misleads them in this way that he deceives them that their anger is for Allah. This then leads to them humiliating and insulting other people, getting unduly angry with other people over trivial matters, and excessively criticizing other people, which then leads to excessive fights with other people and spreads discord. Even then, they keep believing that they're doing it all for Allah's sake. Those who want to preach to others should always remember the following saying of Maulana Shabir Ahmad Usmani Rahmatullah alayh. He used to say that if truth is said with the right intention and in the right manner, it never goes to waste and never leads to discord and fighting. So he put three conditions in. First is that what is being said must be the truth. The second is that the preacher's intention must be pure. And the third is that it's said in the proper manner. For example, if somebody sees someone committing a sin, he must point it out to him with sincerity and with the intention that this person abstains from this sin and make his akhirat better. And they should do so in a manner which is in private and with respect and not humiliate them in front of other people. The intention must not be to ridicule the other person or to boost one's own piety or pride. Similarly, the correct way of doing tabligh or preaching is to do it with softness and politeness and taking care that one does not hurt the other person's feelings. If preaching is done in this way, it never leads to discord and disharmony. We have to remember that Allah Ta'ala has not put us in charge of other people. Our job is only to convey Allah Ta'ala's message to other people with pure intention and in the best possible manner, and to keep doing it throughout our lives. We should never get tired of this duty, but we should also not do anything that creates discord and disharmony. May Allah Ta'ala make us put these teachings into practice. Ameen. Wa akhiru dawana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.